Welcome to Spirit of Truth. Tonight I thought I would talk about some positive Mandela effects. And so tonight we're going to go over Big Fruit, George Soros, and my crazy kitchen. So let's talk about Big Fruit. I guess we can go there first. So a while back, about a month ago, I ordered from a local grocery store where you can go online and order your groceries and then you just go over there and pick them up. And so I ordered fruits, fresh fruits and vegetables and stuff, just like I had been from them and still do from them. Everything was regular and cool and whatever. I go pick up my groceries, I get home, and I have the biggest fruits and vegetables ever. I mean, it was like cartoonish. It was like plums the size of big navel oranges and peaches the size of my face. I mean, it was crazy. Everything was big. It was gigantic. And I mean, it was like one peach would be like for a whole family. And everything was big. The berries were big. The apples were big. The plums and the nectarines were gigantic. The whole thing just made me laugh the whole time. All I could do was just laugh. It was hysterical. I've never seen such big fruit in my whole life, especially so many all together. Fruits and vegetables, everything was gigantic. It was crazy. So, then about a month ago, I go online and I see posted that George Soros was dead. And I was like, wow, that solves a few problems for the world. And so I went and Googled it and looked it up. It was on Wikipedia showing he had died, and I thought, wow, at least it temporarily handles some problems, stops some crazy madness in the world. And so I was pretty happy about that. And I saw that it was actually a true, real story. It wasn't fake media or a hoax or anything. And, then I woke up one day about a week later, or a couple weeks later, and he was back alive again. And I was like, no. But the good news about that is that a lot of times when they die and then they're not dead, they end up dead again in not too long. And besides, the guy's like almost 90 or something. You can't live forever, right? So we have that going for us. And then my crazy kitchen, there's been so much going on in my kitchen that wow. Okay, so I'm going to start with my cast iron and go into my bakeware. So sometime back, several years ago, got rid of aluminum cookware and non-stick cookware and all that unhealthy cookware, and got cast iron and visionsware, which is glass cookware. And so everything I do is in either cast iron or glass or sometimes even ceramic, but that's about it. And so one day, I guess it's been a couple of months now, I went into my kitchen, and the cabinet where I personally had stored my visionsware and my cast iron when I moved in, and I've always stored it in this one lower cabinet between the sink and the stovetop. And I went in there in that cabinet, and all of my cast iron was missing. And I was like really freaked out. because I put it in there myself. Now, I have had some housekeepers come in and help me, and so, but geez, man, you'd have to be pretty desperate for some, you know, 20 or $30 cast iron cookware to steal it from somewhere. So I really wasn't thinking that the housekeeper got away with it. It just didn't make sense to me. And so anyway, I cleaned out that cabinet and rearranged it and put all my glassware back in it, and was actually down on the floor sitting rearranging this cabinet so I could see everything all the way to the back, and didn't find the cookware, didn't find the cast iron. Searched the rest of the kitchen thinking maybe it went somewhere else, and it didn't. So I blew it off. I told a couple of my friends, and then a few weeks later I go in to grab a piece of glassware and see all this dark spot there, and as I leaned my head down I could see that it was cast iron, and I was like, wow, because I hadn't had any housekeepers in. Nobody had been here. And so all of a sudden my cast iron came back. However, not all of it came back. I'm still missing the 2 Dutch ovens and a couple of the skillets. But most of it, a lot of it came back. So that was kind of interesting. And then when I first moved into this house, I have a big island in my kitchen, and it has the granite countertop overhangs on one side, so it's like a bar where you could put bar stools at counter height in there. And when I first moved here, I had got a lot of bar stools for the pool house, the clubhouse. And so after I moved in, a few months after I moved in, I decided that the bar stools that I had in the clubhouse were the perfect color to go with my kitchen, and it would match fine, and I wouldn't have to buy any new ones. So I went out and got the bar stools from the clubhouse and brought them in the house, and was thoroughly disappointed that they didn't work, because they were actual bar stools and this is a countertop, so you need countertop stools, counter height stools, and these were bar stools, so they're about 4 inches too high. So what happened is, when you go to push the bar stool under the countertop, the armrests hit the countertop and it would not slide under, so they didn't fit and it wouldn't work. So I was pretty upset about it. I sat and looked at it for at least half an hour, completely bummed out that I have these stools, they're here, I wouldn't have to buy any more, and they are perfect and they look great, but they don't fit. And I even debated cutting off the legs, but because they were such nice bar stools, I could not justify cutting them, and I couldn't bring myself to buy more stools. And so all this time I've just been without stools at my island countertop in my kitchen. And so about 3 weeks ago, I had somebody helping me around the property, you know, moving things and fixing things and stuff like that. And we were at a kind of a little break in our work, and I don't know what made me say, let's try those stools in the pool house and see if they fit at the island, because I knew they didn't. I had already tried them. So I don't know if I was just trying to waste time or take a break or what I was doing. I don't know to this day why I said let's try it, but I did. And I'm really glad that I did, because all this time I've been thinking I have these stools and they don't fit and what a waste. And we brought them in, and they slid right underneath the countertop and fit beautifully and matched perfectly, and it was just wonderful. I couldn't believe it. And I was like, I know if these bar stools fit under this countertop, I would have had them in here all this time. I mean, I've had family over, I've had friends over, and we always wanted to sit at that island and didn't have anything, and I was being stubborn, refusing to buy anything, and voila, all of a sudden, for whatever reason, now those what were bar stools have turned into countertop height stools, and they now fit in my kitchen, so yay! So that was a good effect. And then right around the same time, my cast iron had just reappeared. The bar stools now fit at countertop height. Yay for me. And then, since I had arranged that one cabinet, I decided to go ahead and arrange the rest of my cabinets. I mean, it's been a while, and for a bunch of reasons I don't want to go into, they were kind of messed up, and so I decided it's time to just, rearrange some stuff in the kitchen and get organized. And so I go to look for my casserole bakeware, and I have a set of glazed ceramic, decorative, very nice, expensive set of bakeware. And they have all the ceramic pans, and then they have a wire rack that they can fit in with handles. So like you can set it's kind of like its own built-in pot holder, so you can set it on a nice table and not burn your table. So they all have these wire racks that you can put them in, and they're very beautiful, and it's a very nice set, and it's like a once in a lifetime kind of thing. You keep this and you use it for years and you pass it down your family line kind of thing. And so I go to look for those to arrange them, and I wanted it has some small individual size bakewares for like quiches and frittatas, and I wanted to pull those out to do some vegetables in. And so I go to look for this bakeware, and it should have been stored in the island, and it wasn't there. And I thought, wow, what's going on? So again, just like with the cast iron, I got my flashlight, turned on all the lights, sat down on the floor, looked through the whole island, and there's no bakeware. And I'm thinking, what the heck? So I searched my whole kitchen, and I couldn't find them. And so I, for 2 days, searched the entire house. I thought, see, I had a blue set, and then for my business at the shop, I had bought a yellow set. And since my kitchen in this house is green, I decided to switch from my blue set to my yellow set. And I just hadn't done it because I hadn't needed them, and I've been busy with other things. So in all this time that I've lived here, I hadn't done that. And so Thanksgiving before last, I had family here, and we cooked so much that we needed to use both sets. And so I thought, well, maybe when I did that, I went ahead and stored my blue set. Let me go look in the freezer room and see if they're stored in there. And they were not. So I thought, well, maybe we put them in the clubhouse. And I went out and looked, and they weren't. And so I came back, searched my back 2 bedrooms, thinking maybe I stored them in there, and they weren't. So I searched the kitchen again, and then I thought, oh, maybe I left them in the dishwasher or in the refrigerator in the clubhouse. So I went back to the clubhouse, and again, no bakeware. So I was really scratching my head. I've searched every room in the house, the clubhouse, the gym, freezer room. I've looked everywhere and I cannot find this bakeware. So my brother thinks I'm crazy, and he was coming over, and I thought, well, I'll show him. He knows that bakeware. He saw us use it at Thanksgiving. He knows it should be here. I'm going to show him that it's not here. And right before he walked in my house, I opened up the island, and guess what was prominently displayed right up front, right where it should have been? Of course, my blue bakeware. So that was kind of wild because I had just spent 2 days searching everywhere and searched the island at least 3 times. And here it was displayed prominently right up front, right where it should have been the first time I went to look. So that was kind of weird. And so at least I'm getting some of these things back. Now, the whole set, just like with the cast iron, the whole set is not back. So I still don't know what's up with that or where the rest of the bakeware or cast iron is, but I'm pretty confident that it's going to show back up and I'll have all of it. And when it does, I guess I'll make a video and let you know the update. But I had one more thing happen in just the recent past with the kitchen. Like, that's what I'm talking about, the crazy kitchen. Like, there's so much going on in my kitchen right now. I don't know what it is about my kitchen that seems to be a Mandela Effect focus right now in my house, but it is. So, another thing that happened involving my kitchen just in the last week is that when I first moved in, it's got this beautiful, great big island, and I thought, wow, how wonderful. And then I find on the end where my ovens are, I have double stacked ovens on one side of the kitchen, and on the other side is the cooktop, the stovetop, just by itself, and then it has storage drawers underneath it. So on the end where the ovens are, there was an outlet. And I thought, great, how smart, how wonderful. I'm so glad they did that. They put electricity and electrical outlet on the island. Great. They did something right. And the first thing I did was run down to the other end of the island and see if there was one there too. Because the end of the island where the stovetop or the cooktop is near the sink and the countertop, and it's more like the area where you would be doing food prep. So that would be the smarter place to have an electrical outlet. And so I immediately ran down there to see the outlet there, and there wasn't one. And I thought, how stupid. You have the electric going into the island. It would be no more difficult to add one at this end just like you did at that end. And if you were only going to put one, why wouldn't you put it near the food prep area instead of down by the ovens where there's not really as much food prep area? So I was kind of miffed by it that they would, number one, only put one outlet, and then to put it at the end that they put it at. And so all this time I've lived at this house, every time we wanted to charge a phone or plug in any extra food prep item that I didn't have an outlet for on the countertop, we would have to go to the other end of the island because there was no outlet at the end where all the food prep is. And in the last week, I walked in my kitchen and I was going to plug in my computer which I normally have to plug in the other end and have, run my cord down there. And I just happened to walk by the end where the cooktop is on my way down to the other end, and lo and behold, there's an electrical outlet there. So, yay for me again! Now I have an electrical outlet on each end of my island, which is the way it should have been all along anyway. Um, so another beautiful, crazy, I can't understand it, Mandela Effect. And the people who have spent time in this house, who knew that we had to go to the other end of the island to use an outlet, are just like scratching their heads as much as I am, going, what is going on? And I'm like, I seriously did not put an outlet there. It just appeared one day. And so we're all scratching our heads. I'm wondering if I'm crazy. They're wondering if I'm crazy, or they know I'm not pulling a trick on them. Like, I didn't call an electrician and say, put an outlet here, I want to trick my family. I mean, I've lived here all this time without it, and, really didn't have any intention of having that done, because when I first moved in, I kind of looked at it and, I don't know, I just decided not to put that money in. I had to put money in other places in this house, and so it just wasn't enough of a priority for me. So, anyway, I wanted to share with you guys some good, positive Mandela effects and let you know it's not all bad. And, so one of the theories I kind of had about the crazy kitchen and the Big Fruit and George Soros and stuff is that, I do spend quite a bit of time focused on my kitchen right now because of doing the organization and thinking about how I want things to be. And I also do that in the political arena, and I'm very well aware of the chicanery that George Soros is pulling. So I have postulated about, what I want the world to be in regards to that as well. And I still don't know, and neither does anyone else really conclusively know, why this Mandela effect is happening. And it could, for all we know, be still a huge psyop. I mean, when things happen like cast iron going missing and then showing back up again, it does make you think of gaslighting. It makes you wonder if you're crazy first. It makes you think of gaslighting. Gaslighting makes you think of psyops, and so you do have to wonder if you're crazy or if you're being gaslighted or psyoped. But it just doesn't make sense for a psyop. I mean, unless they've just really, really wanted it to be really a good psyop, and they could come in here and quickly put in an electrical outlet. I guess I should say thank you for gaslighting me a new outlet. I mean, it's kind of hard to be mad at that. So, I don't know. I'm pretty happy about it. I don't, like anybody else, know what is actually going on, but I'm pretty happy about some of these changes. And so I'm kind of experimenting with it, about just, postulating what I do want, not thinking too much about what I don't want. And as I am doing that, I am seeing better and better effects. Is it coincidence? Maybe. Is it gaslighting, psyop? Maybe is it me creating my own reality? Maybe. I don't know. I just know right now it's working, and so all of the tips I get, I pass along to you guys. Like I've spoken in past videos about how you should definitely, if you are being a victim of my lab abductions or any kind of abduction, really try to resist, try to force yourself or train yourself to remain conscious and resist that stuff. And by the same token, with this stuff, try to train yourself to think about what Mandela effects you'd like to see. Like, hey man, if I'm gonna get a Mandela effect, I'd like to see, you know, this or that happen. Gee, I wish I had this or that, or this was this way or that way. So don't think about so much about the way you don't want things to be or how they are that you don't want or what you don't like, but think about what you do want and what you do like. Who knows if it might work. If it works, great, and we got nothing to lose by trying, right? But I do know the more I focus on certain areas with positive energy, it seems like I'm noticing Mandela effects in that area that are positive. So it doesn't matter to me whether it's a Mandela effect, a biblical, spiritual change, a psyop, gaslighting. I don't care what it is. They gave me an outlet. So if they keep doing good things, I'm cool with it. So let's all try to focus on what we do want to see and see if anybody makes that happen. And if you do, let me know in the comments, because I would really like to hear other people's experiences too, especially if they're good and you feel like they might have been guided by you as well. So, also remember to like, subscribe, and share. And thanks for coming to see me today. I look forward to hearing from you.